file item 19, Senator Block. Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 266 by Senator Block, an act relating to crimes.
Senator Block.
Thank you, Mr. President. SB 266 authorizes probation departments to use flash incarceration to address serious violations of a condition of probation by adults under their supervision. Flash incarceration is a period of detention in county jail not to exceed 10 consecutive days. It's currently being used very successfully by probation departments on post-release community supervision offenders. Unfortunately, when a probationer who is not a PRCS offender violates a serious condition of probation, the probation department's only existing mechanism to address a violation is to initiate a petition for revocation of probation. The revocation process takes significantly longer than a flash process and actually ends up disrupting the offender's rehabilitation efforts, removing them from their jobs, reentry programs they might belong to, removing them from school, removing them from their family for a much longer period of time. Alternatively, a swift and certain sanction like flash incarceration is much less disruptive for these adults. Now, some folks have expressed a concern about due process because flash incarceration is a quick process. To alleviate these concerns, SB 266, as it's now written, will allow offenders to reject periods of flash incarceration after a violation is found. So the ultimate authority to reject flash incarceration is with the person on probation, thus, I think, alleviating most due process concerns. Instead, the probationer can ask the probation department to address the violation by initiating the revocation process. So he or she will have an opportunity for a hearing. Understanding that if they go that route, their life will be disrupted to a much greater extent, and any rehabilitation efforts will be disrupted to a much greater extent. This bill is sponsored by the Chief Probation Officers of California. It's supported by the California State Sheriff's Association and the California Probation, Parole, and Correctional Association, California CSAC, and many other organizations. The bill received unanimous and bipartisan support in public safety, and I respectfully ask your aye vote.
Members, debate or discussion on this item? Debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, is there any objection to utilizing our previous unanimous roll call? There is objection. Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen? Anderson? Aye. Bates? Bell? Aye. Berryhill? Block? Aye. Canella? Aye. De Leon? Aye. Fuller? Aye. Gaines? Aye. Galgiani? Aye. Hall? Aye. Hancock? Aye. Hernandez? Aye. Hertzberg? Hill? Aye. Hueso? Aye. Huff? Aye. Jackson? Aye. Lara? Aye. Leno? Aye. Leyva? Aye. Liu? Aye. McGuire? Aye. Mendoza? Aye. Mitchell? No. Monning? Aye. Morlock? Aye. Morrell? Aye. Wynn? Aye. Nielsen? Aye. Pan? Aye. Pavley? Aye. Roth? Aye. Runner? Aye. Stone? Vidak? Aye. Wachowski? Wolk? Wolk, aye.
Call the absent members.
Allen? Aye. Bates? Aye. Berryhill? Hertzberg? Aye. Stone? Aye. Wachowski?
Ayes 36, noes 1. The measure passes. Moving to file item 20. Senator McGuire, you prepared to take up this item?
Yes, please.
Secretary, please read.
Senate Joint Resolution 3 by Senator McGuire relative to the Smith River watershed.
Senator McGuire.
Good morning, Mr. President. Thank you so much, and members of the Senate. Honored to present SGAR 3. This resolution will help protect the last undammed river in the West, the Smith River and its watershed, from a devastating nearly 4,000-acre strip mine proposal, which would be located just north of the California border in Oregon on the North Fork of the Smith. This strip mine would be one of the largest on the West Coast and would devastate the Smith River watershed, including one of the largest salmon and steelhead runs in the contiguous West Coast states. It would impact water supplies for the majority of Del Norte County residents, and it would severely depress the local economy, which is dependent on tourism dollars. The Smith River watershed, which flows through both California and Oregon, is considered the crown jewel of the California Wild and Scenic River system. Since the passage of the Smith River National Recreation Area Act of 1990, all federal lands in the Golden State surrounding the Smith River watershed have been protected in perpetuity. However, the Oregon portion of the North Fork of the Smith was not included in the act, and as a result remains vulnerable to mining activities. And any future mining activities will unnecessarily put the people and wildlife that rely on the Smith River at risk and would create irreversible impacts to the entire watershed. Specifically, it would, number one, negatively affect the drinking water supply of Del Norte County, 28,000 residents strong, and the Smith is the primary drinking water source for the county. Two, over 1 million tourists visit the recreation area in Redwood State and National Parks, and the businesses that rely on those tourists who come from across the world to visit the tallest trees on the planet, California's old-growth redwoods, would be severely impacted. And three, Mr. President, the federally protected coho salmon would also be put at adverse risk. Support for this resolution is broad and deep. The United States Department of Interior, California State Parks, the Crescent City Council and Del Norte Board of Supervisors, the Smith River and Elk Valley Rancherias, Trout Unlimited, and many more. In addition, both United States senators from Oregon, Senator Wyden and Merkley, support the Oregon portion of the Smith watershed to be permanently protected from mining activity, mimicking the California standard. SGR 3 will prevent any mining activities from negatively impacting the people and wildlife of the California portion of the Smith. And sir, I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Senator McGuire. Any debate or discussion on this item? Debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen? Aye. Anderson? No. Bates? No. Bell? Aye. Berryhill? Block? Aye. Canella? De Leon? Aye. Fuller? No. Gaines? No. Galgioni? Aye. Hall? Aye. Hancock? Aye. Hernandez? Aye. Hertzberg? Aye. Hill? Aye. Wesso? Huff? No. Jackson? Aye. Latta? Aye. Leno? Aye. Leyva? Aye. Liu? Aye. McGuire? Aye. Mendoza? Aye. Mitchell? Aye. Monning? Aye. Morlock? No. Morrell? No. Wynn? No. Nielsen? No. Pan? Aye. Pavley? Aye. Roth? Aye. Runner? No. Stone? No. Vidak? No. Wachowski? Aye. Wolk? Wolk, aye.
Call the absent members.
Berryhill? Canella? Weso? So aye.
Ayes 25, noes 12. The resolution is adopted. Moving to file item 21, Senator Pan. Senator Pan, are you prepared to take up this item? Pass. File item 22, Senator Monning. Pass. File item 23, Senator Berryhill. Not at his desk. File item 24, Senator Wesso. Not at his desk. File item 25, Senator Mitchell. Pass on file. File item 26, pass on file. File item 27, Senator Mendoza. Pass. Members, we have two items on Assembly third reading. We will begin with file item 30. Senator Fuller, are you prepared to take up this item? Secretary, please read.
Assembly Concurrent Resolution 17 by Assemblymember Chang relative to Women and Girls in STEM Week.
Senator Fuller.
Thank you, President and members. I rise to present ACR 17 by Assemblywoman Chang, which establishes the week of April 5th through 11th as the official California Women and Girls in Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics Week, known to most of us as STEM. STEM careers are in high demand and are expected to grow in California by 19% over the next decade. As the demand for STEM jobs continue to grow, we have an opportunity to provide encouragement to California women and girls interested in STEM fields through mentorship and awareness. In my district, we have the Alliance of Women in Energy, which offers a year-long one-on-one mentoring program for female energy industry professionals and high school students with interest in natural resource fields. The Alliance of Women in Energy initiative encourages opportunities for growth through mentoring, business networking, and industry education. As a former educator and superintendent, I understand the challenges of introducing and preparing students for careers in STEM-related education. Many of the STEM fields pay better than other traditional fields that women have gone into. But often, the girls that I've encountered, and perhaps myself to some degree, are more interested in languages and family, and a little afraid of our capacities in math. So I ask all of you today to support us in encouraging all of us to take on the challenges of the new economy that is especially reliant on numbers and mathematics, as well as linguistic superiority, and support this today. ACR 17 is about the celebration of women and girls in California who have chosen to pursue STEM careers and encouraging the next generation of girls and women, and thanking all those who are participating, both men and women, in making those STEM career opportunities available to our youth. Thank you.
Thank you. Debate or discussion? Senator Huff.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise in support of this important resolution. The fastest growing occupations in the United States require some form of expertise in the areas of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, yet females are underrepresented. These are critical fields for the success of California's economy, yet historically, many females have not been encouraged to seriously pursue STEM careers. ACR 17 celebrates women in the STEM fields and highlights an exciting area of endless opportunity. While women make up nearly 1/2 of the working population, they only represent 26% of the STEM workforce. STEM-related jobs are some of the highest-paying jobs in America, and the career choices in the STEM field are wide open. Women who currently hold leadership positions in the STEM field are excellent role models for future leaders considering STEM careers. I'm honored to support ACR 17 and the source of empowerment that exciting STEM careers offer this generation. I urge an aye vote.
Thank you. Any additional debate or discussion on this item? Senator Jackson.
Yes, I also rise in support of this initiative. As we see more girls entering into the fields of mathematics and engineering, it is clearly an exciting opportunity. And while we are seeing more young women enter the field and should be encouraging more and more to do so for the reasons that have been set forth, we also need to be mindful of the fact that once women get into these fields, they are experiencing a real glass ceiling. We're seeing many of these women leaving the professions because of discrimination and opportunity. And so while we encourage our young girls to continue with STEM, we also need to make sure that as they move up the ladder, we continue to encourage them and to make sure they have those opportunities as they advance in the fields which STEM education allows them and encourages them to pursue. So I want to thank the Minority Leader-to-be for bringing this initiative and ask that we all be mindful that while it's critically important that we give this educational opportunity to young women, that we make sure they continue to have that opportunity as they pursue careers in these very important fields. With that, I'd ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Members, any additional debate or discussion on this item? Senator Fuller, would you like to close?
I would just like to thank everyone and ask for an aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, any objection to utilizing our previous unanimous roll call on this item? Seeing and hearing none, ayes 38, no 0, the measure is adopted. Moving members to file item 30, or 34? Yeah, okay. So file item 34. Senator Galgiani, you prepared to take up this item? Pass. File item, oh, perfect. Senator Block, for what purpose do you raise?
Asked to move to motions and resolutions.
Give me 1 second.
Okay, before the consent calendar. though, I
Oh,
need to-
okay. Before the consent calendar? Got it. Members, we're going to move back to motions and resolutions. Senator Block.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just asked to remove item 37 from the consent calendar.
Without objection. Members, we are moving to the consent calendar. That's item 36. Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 146.
Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen. I. Anderson. I. Bates. I. Bell. I. Berryhill. Block. I. Canella. I. De Leon. I. Fuller. I. Gaines. I. Galgiani. I. Hall. I. Hancock. I. Hernandez. I. Hertzberg. I. Hill. I. Hueso. Huff. Hueso. I. Huff. I. Jackson. I. Lada. I. Leno. I. Leyva. I. Liu. I. McGuire. I. Mendoza. I. Mitchell. I. Monning. I. Morlock. I. Morrell. I. Wynn. I. Nilsson. I. Pan. I. Pavley. I. Roth. I. Runner. Stone. Runner. I. Stone. I. Vidak. I. Wachowski. I. Wolk. Wolk, aye.
Call the absent members.
Berryhill.
Ayes 38, no 0. The consent calendar is adopted. Members, we're going to move to governor's appointments. File item 8. Senator De Leon.
Thank you. Thank you,
Secretary.
Mr. President. Colleagues, we have one file item left, which is file item number 8, Governor's appointment to the Delta Stewardship Council. That is Ms. Susan Tatian. Ms. Susan Tatian was heard in Rules Committee March 11. Her confirmation was adopted by the Rules Committee on a 5-0 vote, a bipartisan vote. She has over 20 years of experience in the water resource management and currently serves as the Associate Director at TNC, the Nature Conservancy. Her experience and expertise are critical to the Council as it works to achieve the co-equal goals of water supply reliability as well as environmental protection of the fragile Delta ecosystem. With that, Mr. President, as well as colleagues, I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Members, debate or discussion on this item? Debate or discussion? Is there any objection to utilizing our previous unanimous roll call on this item? Seeing and hearing none, ayes 38, no 0. The appointment is confirmed. Members, we are now moving, we are going to return to motions and resolutions. This is a time for adjourn and memories. Senator Hill.
Thank you, Mr. President. And colleagues, please join me in adjourning in memory of a true American hero. Last week, Les Williams, 95 years of age, passed away. You may not know the name, but Les was the first African-American bomber pilot during World War II. As one of the Tuskegee Airmen, and he broke racial barriers as a businessman in San Mateo County in post-war years. As you know, the Tuskegee Airmen were airmen from Tuskegee who were trained in Tuskegee, Alabama. Les was born in San Francisco, raised in San Mateo. He skipped many grades in grammar school and began high school when he was 11. He graduated when he was 14, but didn't want to go to college because he was a shrimp, he said, wasn't tall enough. Instead, he took up tap dancing and found his passion. For the next few years, he learned how to dance from professionals such as Bill Robinson and taught lessons while working other jobs, such as being a janitor at the Bay Meadows racetrack. In 1944, after the attack on Pearl Harbor, the draft began, but he didn't want to be drafted because he didn't want to be hurt, maimed as a soldier, and that would affect his dancing. He wanted to be a pilot because he had fallen in love with dance, he said. He applied to become the Air Corps in San Francisco, passed all the tests and did very well, and then was told to go back home and they'd write him a letter. Well, they never wrote the letter. He was drafted to Seattle. With the help of a General Williams, Les was accepted in the Air Corps. Within a week, he was on a train to Tuskegee, Alabama, the only place where they were training black pilots, and where he took a 9-month training course. He was decorated during World War II, and after the war, Les returned to San Mateo and reopened his dance studio. Went to Stanford University, got a Bachelor's of Art in History, then later studied at Stanford Law. He practiced criminal law for a few years and worked in real estate. He's a tremendous hero, tremendous citizen, and a true American hero. Asking to adjourn in his memory, members.
Thank you, Senator Hill. Please bring the name forward so it can be properly memorialized. Senator Nielsen.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, I rise to request that we adjourn in memory today of a truly beautiful and wonderful woman, and a constituent as well. Patricia Higgins Byrd was born on St. Patrick's Day in Buffalo, Minnesota. Her name was to honor St. Patrick. She was the youngest of 8 from a big Catholic family. She was called her mother's favorite child, but I don't think she ever flaunted that favoritism, at least as you would see it live on in her children. She was a high school valedictorian, one who truly enjoyed the fun things in life. She met her husband when she was 18. They got married and had 3 children over 4 years. When her husband got out of the service, he began fixing computers. They began to build their marriage. They ended up in Sacramento because they wanted to avoid the cold weather and the blizzards of the Midwest. Patricia worked as a legal secretary as the children were growing up. She liked racing cars. Her husband was an aficionado and a racer, car driver. She was very supportive, working with him in the pits, doing all of those things that are required to have a good quarter midget and be successful in the races. The children attended and were a part of this life. She worked hard through the course of her life and had a loving and good heart. She was adamant that her children would have a good education. They were all brilliant children. Daughter Rhonda was a Mensa. She then moved to Sun City, having had a divorce and living then at Sun City after that. She met a fellow named Dale, and they became quite a pair, were known as the Ken and Barbie of Sun City. She had a long battle with cancer, a battle that she dealt with dignity and resolve. She lived every day to the fullest. She is certainly loved by her children who are left behind. Rhonda called her mother my mamacita. Her friends thought her as their Patty. Son Ron called her Monty, and Deborah called her the beloved mom. She certainly made her mark. I met her once and had the privilege of representing her, and she truly was a beautiful woman, outside and inside. I ask that we adjourn in Patricia's honor.
Thank you, Senator Nielsen. Please bring her name forward so she can be properly memorialized. And please send her family our deepest condolences. Senator Morlock.
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't know how to even begin on this adjournment, but I would like to adjourn today's session in memory of the Reverend Robert H. Schuler. Reverend Schuler was born in Iowa in 1926, just before his 5th birthday. A visiting uncle and minister told Schuler he should be an evangelist. It was then that he decided he wanted to be a minister. He attended Hope College in Holland, Michigan, and was ordained in the Reformed Church of America, the denomination that I grew up in as an immigrant from the Netherlands. He was sent to Orange County in 1955 to establish a new church where he commandeered the Orange Drive-In Theater and stood on the snack shack and had cars drive in and listen to their boxes, for those of you that have never been to a drive-in theater. And it started to grow. His church then built an arboretum in Garden Grove. He started the Hour of Power television program, which became so popular that it was watched by some 12 million people as he grew the Garden Grove Community Church. He commissioned a modern cathedral after building his Tower of Hope, and it is now the Crystal Cathedral, now the Christ Cathedral, which is completely made of glass. I was fortunate to attend the dedication in 1980. It is a major destination point in Orange County. It is amazing how many tourists come still today and drive around the parking lot to look at the facilities. His family is dear to me. We had a personal relationship. One of his many phrases, he was very good about wordsmithing, but one that's kind of motivated me for most of my life was a phrase that had two-letter words. If it is to be, it is up to me. And so it's been real inspirational. His wife, Arvella, passed away just recently. He has 5 children. Just want to wish his daughter, Sheila, and her husband, James Coleman, Gretchen and Jim Pinner, his son, Robert, and his wife are all friends. And Bobby Schuler, the grandson, is now pastoring the church in a new location. We want to remember this wonderful family that made just an incredible impact on the county of Orange at this time of loss. And then I also have an adjournment in memory of Guy Carozzo, who was the mayor of Fountain Valley as I served as a county supervisor. He passed away last Monday at the age of 83. He served as a councilman for the city of Fountain Valley for 20 years and was mayor for 4 of those years. The son of an Italian immigrant, Guy was a member of the United States Air Force before becoming a teacher and principal in the Westminster School District for more than 25 years. He is survived by his wife, Dolores, 2 children, 4 grandchildren, and a great-granddaughter. And I ask that the Senate sends the Carozzo family our deepest regards today as we adjourn in memory of an individual remembered for his love and service to the community. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Senator Morlock. Please bring their names forward so they can be properly memorialized. Senators, any other motions or resolutions? Seeing none, if there's no other business, Senator De Leon. Oh, Senator Block.
Rise for the purpose of announcements. Senate Budget Subcommittee number 1 will meet at 10:45 in room 3191.
Thank you. Senator Mitchell.
Purpose of announcement, please.
Without objection.
Senate Budget Subcommittee number 3, Health and Human Services, will convene at 11 a.m. in room 4203.
Thank you. Senator Hancock.
For purposes of announcement, Budget Subcommittee 5 will convene at 10:45 in room 113.
Senator Wolk.
Budget Sub 2 will meet at 10:45 in room 112.
Thank you. Oh, Senator Roth.
Thank you, Mr. President. For purposes of announcement, Budget Subcommittee 4 will meet in room 2040. And Mr. President, given the fact that we'll be taking up the Hollywood Film Tax Credit today, and particularly respecting your sartorial splendor and your ascot, we certainly invite you to attend.
Thank you. Thank you. If there's no other business, Senator De Leon, the desk is clear.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I thank Senator, the good senator from Riverside for his comments. You do have a striking resemblance to the actor George Hamilton, So with a pair of shades or Ray-Bans, you'd be perfectly...
I was thinking more Rock Hudson, but...
Rock Hudson, there you go, too. Rock Hudson. Stepping up your game. All right. With that, colleagues, I hope you have a very wonderful Thursday, Friday, a productive weekend. We will reconvene on Monday at 2 p.m. Thank you very much. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. Members, the Senate will be in recess until 3:30, at which time the adjournment motion will be made. We will reconvene Monday at 2 p.m. Aye.